FBI actually, let me zoom out so we can see the actual story. FBI releases new surveillance video of January 6th pipe bomb suspect. The FBI on October 22nd released new surveillance footage showing footage that says it shows a person placing pipe bombs the night before January 6th. The video is this the video right here?
On January 5th, 2021, between 7:30 and 8:30 p.m., an unidentified individual placed pipe bombs near the offices of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C. The FBI and our partners are renewing our call for tips from the public to help us identify the suspect. A reward of up to $500,000 is available for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the individual responsible for this attempted attack. If you have any information, please call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also submit tips online at tips.fbi.gov.
I don't know why it's 8 minutes.
Turf shoes,
Here we go.
which are black and gray with the yellow Nike logo. Fewer than 25,000 of these shoes were sold between August 2018 and January 2021. The first time the suspect is seen is at approximately 7:34 p.m. at the intersection of 1st Street and North Carolina Avenue Southeast.
Okay, I don't want to play the full thing, but
the shoe thing.
Does anybody here think the person was not a Fed? No hands? Maybe not Fed, but I firmly believe this was some kind of agent operative. This was not some random leftist terrorist or individual. Like, this was coordinated intentionally, specifically pertaining to the January 6th riots. Guys, what is the probability that J6 was fomented intentionally to try and destroy Donald Trump? I think it's very likely.
It could have been a foreign power. I mean, that's why, because I see that stat where there's only 25,000 pairs of these shoes made. That's not a lot for America. That's not a lot of shoes. Now you narrow it down to who might have been in D.C. near J6, and there's all these other parameters. You can narrow that number down. So there's probably less than 50 people that they think could be the guy. But the fact that they haven't gotten them 5 years later, they have no leads whatsoever. Now they're having to release all this additional footage because they're lost. Maybe it was a foreign actor who's fled the country the day after. I mean, a lot of people always assume it's domestic that causes the internal strife in America, but why not someone from Iran, Qatar, Israel, etc.?
Well, yeah, that, or I mean, again, I don't want to completely, lose sight of this. This very well could have been a leftist as seeking to foment some sort of, civil strife so they could impose their will. I mean, we did see in J6 there was a lot of speculation that there were like Antifa-aligned actors in the crowd that were trying to agitate, trying to rile people up. Like, that is in their playbook to sort of bring forth civil strife so then they can do their thing, so they can operate with more impunity. But I mean, who knows? I mean, the fact that they're having to throw the shoe size out shows that, it's a bit grim. Any leads here, but
a lot of people online are saying, I didn't get this from the video, but the additional security camera footage, they say the person walking, their gait would imply it's a woman. I don't get that sense. The shoe thing, definitely that looks like a male shoe.
Let's play some of this video.
See the gait.
I will watch this and do a gait analysis.
And then south on South Capitol Street. This footage of the suspect on South Capitol Street shows the person setting down their backpack, which is believed to contain one of the bombs at this time.
I'm going to say woman. I'm going to tell you why. It's the bending over.
Yeah.
Watch the bending over.
This footage of the suspect on South Capitol Street shows the person setting down their backpack, which is believed to contain one.
Because women have lower centers of gravity, it's much easier for them to control their legs as they're bending their torso up and down. Men would not. That likely is not masculine in my. Well, I don't know for sure, but it's very effeminate movements. And seriously, watch the videos of women. They have a man and a woman stand against a wall, and they'll tell the woman to bend over and pick something up, and the man to do it. Men can't because of their higher center of gravity. So when you notice the legs stay perfectly straight and don't move as the torso moves up and down, very indicative of a woman.
Of the bombs at this time.
Hard to know for sure, though.
The suspect appears to put on a pair of glasses and scan the area, standing on tiptoes.
Trans man?
Regardless, we should be looking for cars with curb rash. I think that'll help us.
There you go. That proved it.
Yeah.
Before picking up the backpack, turning around, and heading back the way they came
I like the
on
music.
South
It's
Capitol
very
Street.
Right. Very FBI.
you know?
Yeah.
True crime.
Yeah.
FBI stepped their game up.
After reaching the corner of D Street, the suspect turns around again, and this time walks south all the way down South Capitol Street to a bench outside the Democratic National Committee headquarters building.
Hard to tell from this.
That
So
was not good quality.
yeah. Low frame rate. Wonder who picked the music. This one sounds good.
Yeah.
Here we see the suspects sit on the bench for a few minutes. They do not
That's-
place the bomb at this time.
Man spreading.
Man spreading?
True. Yeah. And men like to sit on benches and think.
That is true. That is indicative of a man.
The suspect then walks east on Ivy Street.
So we know it's either a man or a woman.
Oh.
Narrows
Narrowed
it
it
down.
down. Well, I was gonna say they put the bag down really delicately, but I guess there's a bomb in it, so you probably
Two of them.
But it was a fake bomb that was very similar to the training bombs they use. Is my understanding.
He's just a very zesty man, I think.
Turns
Trans
north
person?
on New Jersey
Right,
Avenue, and then pauses near the corner of D Street before retracing their steps back to the DNC bench where the first bomb is placed.
I just want to really stress though, because guys don't bend down like that.
Yeah, no, that's 100%.
And this does look a little bit more feminine. I don't know. It's tough.
I think it's a woman.
Let's see.
The bending over for the bag is just guys don't do that. Guys typically don't have the flexibility to do that. I'm not kidding. Like how many guys can stretch forward and touch their toes?
If you're saying though, if this is a fed or some kind of deep state individual, wouldn't the assumption they're in shape? They're very physically fit.
No.
You don't think so? Someone
No
that
way.
would be sent for this kind of operation.
You don't have to be super.
You're not going to
shaped
send a
just-
fat guy.
Okay,
or
but
someone
let's just try this. Literally, we're all dudes. Stand up and bend over perfectly, standing straight up without your legs moving to reach down and grab something off the ground.
I'll do it.
The audience is
Want me
going
to
to
do
the
it?
wide
Yeah,
cam,
do that.
Serge.
Get the wide cam. This proves everything. No, you're bending your knees.
I'm just picking it up to put
Okay.
it in place. Let's see.
Don't bend your knees. Reach down without bending your knees.
Oh, my hamstrings.
So the point is this. You could do it, but you wouldn't because it's not comfortable.
If I
You'd
were to
bend
do
your
Right.
knees.
I'd probably go.
I see. Yeah.
I'd probably squat. a
So,
little bit.
but more importantly, this individual went up and down, went down, up, and then down more,
Sticking their
without the
derriere.
legs moving, and they were together. Very feminine.
They're really sticking their derriere out as well.
Right.
Oh, my hamstrings.
So I guess this lesbian then.
Maybe.
Here
fair
we
enough.
see the suspect
Is
place
there
the
any
bomb
Subaru
at
spotted nearby?
approximately
Newly
7:54
minted
Saturn?
p.m.
Toyota Tacoma.
Is anybody getting a boy haircut recently?
Basketball shoes though.
Basketball. That's very lesbian.
That is very lesbian.
On place. There you go. This is wild. They did a lot of work on this.
WNBA paraphernalia found nearby.
From there, the person walks north on South Capitol Street.
Swinging the bag. around?
Really spreading the bag.
Really having fun.
Be curious at how fast this person was actually walking. It looks like they're
Yeah.
hustling.
East on D Street. South
when,
on New Jersey Avenue.
Remember when the wife? Okay, so Ilhan Omar is dating this guy who's married, and then some Eritrean guy just randomly kills someone who looks just like his wife in the same neighborhood where his wife lives, and everyone was kind
Nothing
of
to see
like,
here.
they were like, maybe the Eritrean guy was supposed to kill his wife, but killed the wrong person instead.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a red-haired woman walking a dog, got murdered randomly for no reason, and then you find out that this dude that Ilhan Omar's with is married to the same a redheaded woman in the neighborhood who walked a dog, and it's like, did somebody tell that Eritrean guy to kill her, and then he killed the wrong one?
Well, yeah.
Northeast on North Carolina Avenue. When we lose video coverage of the suspect at approximately 8 p.m. 8 minutes later, at about 8:08 p.m., we pick the suspect back up on camera heading north on 2nd Street.
Weird.
The suspect walks west on C Street, enters an alley, that leads to Rumsey Court and
Trying
then
to
walks
avoid
west
surveillance.
on Rumsey Court.
That's a woman.
A little bit
Look
of
how
a
the
strut.
feet are walking.
I'm saying it's a woman.
How they go in front of
Hips.
each other is in the hips.
Yeah.
It's like a strut, kind of.
This footage shows the suspect pass between the RNC and the Capitol Hill Club, holding the backpack out
Maybe
to the
trans
side.
man. I'm not kidding. Maybe trans man.
The person continues
No boobs.
between the RNC and the Capitol Hill Club. Then continues north on 1st Street, east on C Street,
The hell?
Case in the joint.
Just walking
Yeah.
all over.
back into the alley,
Making sure
toward
no one's
Rumsey
around
Court,
and
back
taking their
onto
time.
Rumsey Court.
He seems really familiar with the RNC, so he might be gay.
Oh.
That's
He?
true. Might be gay.
Disgruntled staffer.
Yeah.
They placed the second pipe bomb at approximately 8:16 p.m. The suspect then turns back onto Rumsey Court, walking east until the person is last seen on camera at approximately 8:18 p.m., wearing the backpack on their shoulders. The bomb is believed to have been placed shortly before this video, based on how the suspect is carrying the backpack. We still believe there is someone out there who has information they may not have realized was significant until now. We're asking you to come forward to share that information with the FBI. Please call the FBI.
All right.
So, Tim, could you rewind real quick to the graphic when it shows when he placed the first bomb at the DNC? I'm curious to the timestamp on there compared to when he placed the RNC bomb, and then I want to see that distance. How much time it took for him to cover that distance?
I think it was like, what, 20-something minutes?
It was all within like a half hour or something like that.
Because it was,
Yeah. It's you can't bounce around on X videos like that.
yeah.
So, but they have it written down. 7:34 and 8:15 is when it's happening. The Vice at the DNC was 7:54. RNC was 8:16.
Okay.
It's really not that late at night to be.
It's not. That's
yeah.
that's just the evening.
Right.
It was what the RNC and DNC is about 6 blocks from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, 20 minutes ish.
Fake bombs that look very similar to the bombs they use in training exercises.
Were they fake?
Yes.
I thought they were real. They just didn't go off.
I thought they were fake, weren't they?
I don't think the FBI said.
Or maybe they not have said either way.
Yeah, they just say pipe bombs. Okay, no, viable explosive devices.
Wow. Okay. So,
The devices were diffused. Okay, I was wrong. Wow.
and if this was an operation of a deep state or CIA of some sort, this is the perfect suspect. You can't see their face. They're fully clothed, gloved, mask, and we don't know if it's a man or woman. We're debating it.
Right.
Like this is the perfect subject for this.
Where were you at, Tate?
Yeah.
On 2021 at 7:54 p.m.
I need to talk to a lawyer.
It's like your bar mitzvah, right?
There was a wall involved. I was kissing it. You know, it was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I think it's very obviously this is maybe it's not Fed, but it's some kind of operation.
Yeah.
I still I think people in America are so quick to just assume this is a leftist or false flag, just domestic, whatever angle you choose. But dude, at the height of when this was going on and you realized Trump was contesting the election, the Russia claims weren't debunked, people still thought he was a Russian asset. Who knows if it, I lean towards foreign government of some sort.
To be fair, in the lead up to January 6th, it was still like a very well-known quantity. There was a lot of Democrat politicians, leftist media were complaining about the march in general. They were saying, oh, this is like ridiculous, this is over the top. So I think among the leftist activist base, they were aware that, there was going to be a ton of patriots in D.C. on one day.
Because why would you target both?
That's what I was going to say. The fact that both of these locations were targeted it's either there to completely throw you off. You would need like one bomb to be real and one to be fake, or it's very clear that ultimately this is meant to sow confusion, right?
Right.
If you had a specific political target, you wouldn't distribute the bombs equally across both parties. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the news, I mean, this is an old story and we're kind of talking about it for the first time in a while. But when the story was big, it was all kind of attributed to, see, look how violent J6 was. There was pipe bombs and a riot.
How did AOC know? How did AOC know in advance that Trump supporters would storm the building? You know this story, right?
I don't.
This is like a month after January 6th. AOC told the story. I think it was a month. It might have been a couple weeks. Told the story where she said she was in her office and she
I did know the story.
banging on her door. And she went and hid in the bathroom thinking the rioters have found me. And the guy went, "Where is she? Where is she?" And she thought she was going to die. And then it turns out it was actually the officer evacuating people because of the pipe bombs. At that point in time in her story, no one had breached the Capitol grounds even. When she was telling that story about the time when they bought lunch, what time it was, when this happened, you can track when the evacuations happened and when the actual storming of the Capitol happened. It was an hour later. What made her think rioters would have gotten into the Capitol complex and gone to the tunnels to her office? It's possible she's just making a fake story up.
I lean towards that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give her the benefit of the doubt. No, she said they were going to kill me. Okay. How'd you know they were going to get in the building?
I think they all needed to build up that terror, right? Like that's the whole point. And I think that's why a lot of people are very suspicious about the number of FBI agents in the crowd during this whole thing.
What is it, up to 300?
Right. Yeah. Plus, not even to mention the number of informants on top of that. Like you have so many people there, and I'm sure that there were people who wanted to enter the Capitol at some level. There were people who were getting out of hand at some level. But if you're a highly corrupt FBI that's obviously been pushing Joe Biden's agenda on the right the entire time, if you've been identifying the right as the most dangerous terror threat, the most dangerous domestic terror threat, if you've been fed all this stuff, it's probably not too hard for the agents involved to be like, well, maybe if we encourage a few people to go in, they want to do it anyway, right? We're just moving it along. It's just a little bit of entrapment. It's not a problem, and then the whole thing kind of spirals. So I think it's one of those scenarios where everything is already lit, and all they had to do was drop the match into the tinder, and they were like, yeah. I think we're okay.
I'm also curious to what comes out of this. Cash just said, hey, we're on the verge of unmasking the structure behind Antifa. And I think it was Andy No. I could get that wrong. But someone has been doing work exposing people at J6 dressed up as MAGA, and they're known Antifa members.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's Andy No that's been doing this work. So now I'm curious to what the FBI is going to find, and if there's any connection between these NGOs, Antifa, and what happened in the lead up to J6.
There are videos of people like getting dressed, like they're by a bunch of trees, and people are like, "What are you guys doing?" And it looks like feds. Not to mention, there are several people who are seen committing acts of violence who are never tracked down by insurrection hunters or the police.
One of the things that people don't really put together, they complained about Trump, getting this giant budget for ICE and building this huge force. He's getting a military-style budget. And a lot of people complain, oh, we don't need that. We had Rand Paul and Thomas Massie and these guys saying, don't do it. They don't think about the fact that if the FBI is truly compromised, like if it's really, truly compromised beyond any hope, what would you do?
Right.
Would you build up your own force, your own domestic law enforcement force from the bottom up with military style budget where you get to hire the vast majority of the people and ensure that they're loyal to you? Like people just don't do that math, but we know the FBI has been desperately corrupt for an extremely long time. It's probably not going to investigate itself and figure it all out.
Yeah, it takes, and I understand the frustration from people, obviously, especially because within the conservative movement, we've been antagonized by the intelligence sphere for so long. But yeah, the unfortunate thing is it does take quite a bit of time to reorient the FBI away from prosecuting and persecuting right-wingers. Like that's been their specialty for the last 50 years.
That's what everyone in the organization has been hired for, that purpose, right? Even Christopher Wray, who is appointed by Trump, goes out and says right-wing domestic terror, the most dangerous thing in the United States, right? Like that has been the governing doctrine of that organization for decades. It doesn't just go away because Kash Patel shows up and fires a few guys.
Yeah, you don't just like put up a LinkedIn listing for FBI agent, FBI official. Like it takes a while to like churn the staff.
But it turns out you can do that when you're scaling ICE up.
That's true, and it's very based. Well, even ICE like has some pretty high standards. Like, I mean, but that obviously you're building it up, so that's different than churning, a force. So yeah, and this is happening all across the administration. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of like, what's taking so long, this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's really important to put in perspective. What a typical Republican administration looked like. I think we forget where we were before this. But then B, how long it takes to reorient these, how long it takes to reorient these agencies. I mean, it takes a very, very long time because there's so much entrenched staff. There's so much deep state. Thankfully, this government shutdown has obviously given the Trump admin some breathing room now where they can start, telling people like, yeah, you don't need to come back to work, that sort of thing. But yeah, like you're saying, I mean, these things take time, and it's unfortunate because we want to move quick, obviously, especially seeing people get killed. But yeah, it's not like you can just snap your fingers. There's not a button on Trump's desk that says like make the left go away. Like, unfortunately, it's just not how it works. unless, I don't know, maybe Stephen Miller has a plan. I don't know. Maybe there is a button somewhere, but
You're fired button.
as far as I know, there's only a Diet Coke button. He doesn't have the fix everything magically button.
We need one of those.
That was the annoying thing in the culture war where Brian Shapiro was arguing Trump's been complaining about healthcare for 9 years and hasn't fixed it. And I'm like, okay. Like, what's the argument? That he's been complaining and hasn't fixed it. And I'm like, I complain about a lot of things I can't fix too. Like, I don't understand why you're pretending to be upset by this. Trump doesn't have a magic button to solve every problem. He's a guy. Like, we have to be happy with what he gets done and ask him to try harder on things that he's not getting done.
It's a weird thing to get hung up on.
It's ultimately like the purpose, if you are a right winger, if you are right of center and you want to win, your purpose is to move the football down the field in whatever capacity you're in. And not every play is going to be a Hail Mary. Not every play is even going to be like a long 50-yard completion. Sometimes it's like a little 3-yard run up the middle. Like that's how these things work. But you have to consistently move the football down the field. And when you look at the Trump administration, he is continually pushing the football down the field.
Line of thinking.
They are marching.
Who is that guy who ran 60 yards in the wrong direction?
Oh,
There's
that's
been
happened a few
bunch of
times.
There's been a bunch.
Put him in concussion protocol.
Happens in college football.
The punter, when the punter missed.
The Steelers had a
ball.
bad.
There's a lot of Republicans that do that.
That's my point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So,
But I think that's
and you're like, hold on a minute, maybe they're doing that on purpose.
right.
that's a new line of thinking though, because like I remember like the first like big election that I was aware of was Mitt Romney and Obama, and Mitt Romney's that the conservatives then it's night and day compared to the conservative movement now. Like now they're like, hey, no, we don't want to just stop Democrats. We want to actually push our own agenda and get our own things done.
I mean, you've been around the conservative movement for a really long time, Tim, as well. Like, from my perspective, it seems like Trump was the first time that people were voting, Republicans, right of center people were voting for a candidate, when pretty much every election prior to that, people were just saying, keep him out of office.
Yep.
Fine, I'll plug my nose and vote for this guy. Like, Mitt Romney was just an anti-Obama vote.
I mean, I voted for Trump as a largely keep Biden out of office. Second time around, it was relatively similar, but Trump has proven himself.
The conservative base seems to be like, I'm voting for Trump.
Indeed, correct.
That's because Trump was a middle finger to the Republican Party too, right? Like Trump was just as destructive to what the Republican Party was as he was to the idea of leftist dominance as well, which is why so many people hated him, and they still hate him, by the way. Like the vast majority of these people who, a lot of them went never Trump, and they did the Bill Kristol bulwark thing, but there are plenty of people who were never Trump who came back to the conservative movement and suddenly discovered a respect for Donald Trump until they could vote for Ron DeSantis, and all of a sudden you had to vote for Ron DeSantis, or you were a traitor to the country and you hated whatever. And then Ron DeSantis lost, so they kind of had to go back to Trump again. And now they're trying to police all the people who are actually loyal to Trump back out of the movement, right? So the Republican Party is still fighting Trump at every stage. And so really, Trump is not just defeating the left. He is also defeating what was conservatism as well, because it's not fit for purpose. It does not conserve anything. We've all recognized that at this point.
Still, do you think that's still happening though? Because definitely in like 2022, 2023, when DeSantis announced his candidacy, there was definitely a lot of pushback from like rhinos and the Nikki Haley's and stuff. But I think everyone's kind of fallen in line at this point on the right.
I disagree. I think that there are a lot of people who are playing Trump fans so they can guide the Trump. They recognize MAGA is the future now. So how do I define MAGA, right? If you're not familiar, this is how neoconservatives entered into the Republican Party, right? Like this is the Buckleyite purge of the right. This is we have had a situation over and over again where the establishment sees the new wheel turning and they take control by coming in and saying, well, actually, we get to decide what that looks like. Even though we were against you 10 minutes ago, now we're on your team. And since we're so smart and elevated and everything, maybe we get to dictate where we're going, right? And so with that, I think we're seeing a lot more of that. They'll not come out and say directly, I'm against Trump.
Right.
But they are against everybody who supported Trump the whole time they were against Trump.
Basically just Massey and Rand Paul.
And that seemed to be the real sort of a side consequence of the DeSantis candidacy, was it made it clear to Trump who was still loyal to him. Sure. At that time, it was like Trump was bleeding allies. I mean, Charlie Kirk was one of the only guys in the space that was like, no, we're sticking, he's the guy. I mean, Trump was bleeding allies everywhere. And I think that for him was actually a moment that was helpful, that was beneficial to him, was it weeded out a lot of people that coded MAGA, but were ready to flip at the soonest opportunity, the quickest off-ramp. So.
Yeah.
Is the camera still on me?
Yeah, it is.
We're waiting for you to finish your point.
Point's been made. I'm loyal to Trump till the very end. I'm a Trump loyalist, American Caesar.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.